Hello guys, how are you doing this evening? Well, I'm going to tell you, this could be just what we need, and this is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. Now, if you don't know, the state of Illinois is just about bankrupt. Illinois has the worst credit rating in the municipal bond market. Moody's Investment Service pegs Illinois' debt as Baa3. It could be further downgraded, the credit rating, later this year in 2018. Illinois but this could be exactly what we need. Really, quite really, Illinois could actually avert us from having a stock market crash. That's what I said. And I'm going to get into this. I'm going to talk about how it could do this, but it's not going to be pretty. But look at this. Found an article here. It says bankrupt state to spend $200 million on Obama Center. They're going to build some sort of a the state of Illinois has incurred deficits reaching $15 billion in 2017, and those deficits are doubling to $30 billion in 2018. So their deficit has doubled in 1 year. They're accumulating hundreds of billions in unfunded liabilities in public sector pensions, health care plans. This has exposed local jurisdictions to the risk of default or bankruptcy, right? They need bailouts. This is what they need. There is no bailing a state in, not like a bank. A bank holds investor money, they hold depositor money, and they can bail in. Illinois can't bail in. They got nothing. What are they going to bail in with? So they need a bailout. So the Illinois has approved a $224 million legislature budget earlier this month. That includes $174 million for road work near the Presidential Center and $50 million for the Garfield Gateway Rail Project 2 miles away. That $200 million of that total budget would come from state taxpayers. Public works projects around the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago could cost Illinois taxpayers another $200 million. And so they're spending money they don't have for the Obama Presidential Center. It's absolutely got to the point of being ridiculous. Now, Illinois could be the first state to go bankrupt. Well, you can't let Illinois go bankrupt. It's too big to fail. Now, my personal opinion is they won't let Illinois go bankrupt. Now, Illinois is in a death spiral, guys. And what this basically means is it's like a deflationary spiral where everything gets worse and worse and worse and goes downhill until everything collapses. This is what's happening to Illinois. They need to collect money. They need money. So what are they doing? They're attacking people with, excuse me, they're attacking people with taxes. Okay? They're saying, we need to get the money, so we're going to come after taxpayers, and we're going to make them pay more. Well, the people are learning this. People are not stupid. People are going to leave in droves, so then they'll have less taxes to collect from fewer people. So then they'll have to collect higher taxes from the few people that are remaining there, and they'll leave too. Because taxes will just get higher and higher and higher. And then they'll have to need more from the few that's even left. This is not going to work. In fact, the people are already getting the hell out of there, getting out of Dodge before they're taxed to death. Because they know that the greedy government's after as much money as they can get, and they're spending it in foolish ways as fast as they can spend it. And so there's not much left. They can borrow more money as the other alternative, rather than to tax more. If they don't tax the people more, then they can borrow more money. But if they borrow more money, they get themselves deeper in debt, and then they owe more. And so they're approving these silly projects. $224 million legislation budget, $200 million for the Obama Presidential Center, and everything else that they're doing there. And of course, this is all tax grabs and the money under the table, and they're going to probably hire their buddies to do the work, and they're rubbing their hands together because they got all these good contracts coming. But now I'm going to get around to the nitty-gritty, what I'm talking about, how this could save us. There's two options the government can take. One, they can let Illinois go down into bankruptcy. Ain't going to happen, guys. So the other option is to bail Illinois out. If they bail Illinois out, they're going to make a big, giant question mark on the dollar. This could be exactly what the Federal Reserve needs to allow them to continue their policy, is to bring the dollar down, weaken the dollar. And this is exactly what Trump would love to do, is to weaken the dollar. The dollar starts getting weaker. What happens is this dollar is not just going to weaken slowly if it does take off, but what this would do is this would be a prohibitive factor against a stock market crash. A weak dollar. If the dollar got extremely weak suddenly from an Illinois bankruptcy and then a bailout of Illinois, would really help weaken the dollar a lot. I could see it taking the dollar down from right now, the present 94 on the U.S. dollar index, to 84. Illinois all by itself could take it down to 84. A bailout of Illinois could take it down to 84. And then there's a big question mark on a number of other states that are in the process of going where Illinois is going. That could even increase the effect. So we get a weakened dollar, right? The stock market, this could give impetus for the stock market to go up, but it's not going to be going up in a good way. It's going to be going up in and runaway inflation could begin without a stock market crash. We could start to go right into the hyperinflation without a stock market crash. And I mean, this could mean that the stock market crash that I've been predicting could actually be wrong if Illinois were to go down and they have to bail her out. This could make a big change in what I've been predicting for a long time. I've been predicting this stock market crash. And the reason why I've been predicting the stock market crash got everything to do with what the Fed's been doing with the reverse quantitative easing, their quantitative tightening, they call it, which is the stupidest policy on earth. But this is what's been supporting the dollar. And the strong dollar is what's in the bond market losing its power. It's been on a long tear. It's had a lot of power for a long time, and now the bond market's starting to roll over. This rolling over of the bond market, along with the strong dollar, is a setup for a stock market crash, for an overvalued stock market. But you know, if we go into a hyperinflation, you could see the Dow Jones 100,000 if we're in a hyperinflation. But that doesn't mean it's worth 100,000. That just means that the dollar's worth nothing. Gold and silver then this would be rocket fuel for gold and silver. Either way, we're going into a hyperinflation. But this whole thing could set up a little bit different situation than I'm expecting. This could be a black swan, and it's awfully hard for a fellow like me that's predicting trends. If a black swan comes along out of nowhere, sometimes it can throw you off, and things can go a little bit different route than you expected. And of course, this Illinois, this could send us off onto a different trajectory. A bankrupt state. I mean, let's face it, 10 years ago, all of us would sit back and we'd say, hey, this is weird. This could never happen, a bankrupt state. But as we've seen Detroit go bankrupt, now it's not becoming so weird anymore. It's becoming fully within the realm of possibilities. Especially, a lot of it's got to do with the baby boomer generation, how they're they're conserving their money. They're not spending anymore, and they've been promised all of these retirement benefits and everything else that they've been promised them, and they're coming of retirement age now. Now, let's just think for a moment here, and I don't really want to switch subjects too much, but I'm going to talk about one other thing too. I'm going to talk about all of these retirement accounts that the banks supposedly have the money put away for. And you're going to be a millionaire when you retire, by the way. These are high yields, and they've been showing you on paper. If you're one of these people who have these kind of accounts, these retirement accounts, they've been showing you on paper at the bank. You can go into the bank anytime you want to, and you can get a printout even of your account. Or you can go there, and they'll show you how much money you got in your account and so on. And they'll show you how much you're going to have when you reach retirement age. And it's an incredible amount of money. And you're probably 20 years away from retirement. And you're thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? This is going to be great when I get to retirement age, because I'm going to have like twice as much in there as I got now or whatever. Then you're thinking, I'll be able to retire, and what you got now excites you. You take a look at all these zeros in front of a long number, you know, and you got all this big amount of money in there, right? And you're thinking, oh, when I retire, I'm going to have some wang-bang good at retirement on this much money. I hate to disappoint you, but the bankers have had their fun with your money, and what they're doing is they're keeping a small amount back in reserve to pay off the people that come in early. They already know it's a hollow reed, and they're not worried about it. They're not worried about it because they're going to be retired themselves, and who are you going to chase to worry about when everybody is going to be in the same boat? All these retirement accounts are not going to yield you the money that you thought you were going to get. It's already gone, in fact. They just keeping enough in there to cover the first guys that come in. The first guys that come in, a few people will come in, and they'll pay the penalties, and they'll take their money early anyway, and they don't care. They're like, give me the money. It's my money. And the bank official will sit down and he'll say, well, you're going to have to pay this and pay this and pay this penalty and that penalty, and you're going to pay taxes on it and all this kind of stuff. And they say you're not going to get half of the money you got there. And the guy says, well, I'll take it anyway. And he takes it early. Boy, they hate him. Boy, do they ever hate him. But there's the occasional guy that comes in and does that. And he's the bane of their life. You know, they could strangle him because he's taken his money. But all the others that are keeping their money in there, they love you. They love you, and that money's already gone. If everybody that's got these retirement accounts and everything were to go in tomorrow morning and say, hey, we want our money early, you'd find out the money's all gone. It's not there. So you're not going to get it later either. And these bankers that are offering you this money are all going to be retired. This is the situation we're in. 20 years from now, all of these retirement accounts, it looks good right now, and it's all on paper, and oh yeah, they can show you how much money you got in there and everything else. But believe me, when the 20 years comes around and you go in to get it, it ain't going to be there. Or we will have went through a hyperinflation already, and the money won't be worth anything anyway. They'll have reset, and they will have transferred all that over to something else. Transferred it maybe 2 or 3 times over. Maybe they'll first transfer it into SDRs, and then the SDRs will become worthless, and then they'll transfer it into some new Fed coin or something like that, and then it'll become worthless, and then in the end they'll have to transfer it over into the tiniest little amount of gold you ever seen in your life. So your $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever you got, say you got $100,000, they'll transfer it over into SDRs and then over into Fed coin. You'll have like 2 Fed coins, and then they'll transfer those Fed coins into gold in the end, and it'll be 1/5 of an ounce of gold. So right now, you could take that $100,000, and how many ounces could you buy? What? I don't know. I'm doing the math real quick in my head. What, 70 ounces or something? You know? But then you'll get 1/5 of 1 ounce. That's what you'll end up getting of gold. But it'll be the equivalent of gold in some sort of new cryptographic currency money. That's all you'll have for all of your life savings. Because these crooks are actually in charge, and they're stealing from you, and you don't even know they're stealing from you. They're stealing your money every year with inflation right now. They admit, they say it's 2%. It's probably higher than that, and they're stealing that much anyway on the money you got in the bank. They're not giving you any interest. They're crooks. Okay, I've rambled a little bit. Listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. And hey, we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.